also add that I was paying attention to the vocal, and I hear some variation, and I'd like to encourage you to develop that more. You have really, Tim has really great deep voice when he exercises. And then you have your comfort level. So stretch that a little bit. Okay, any additional? Yes, Ed?
I just had a comment, kind of on the line what Prez was saying, is that since it's just such a general topic being sold to, you can relate to people who spoke earlier, like Marilyn had the juicer, Jack Verlaine, Stefania was trying to sell her house. You can easily, so that make it look like you just came up with your speech right in the moment. It seems real natural.
And for our guests, this is how we kind of help each other, learn from each other. Okay, and finally, is that about it? Jason.
Me.
But that's enough for Tim.
Oh.
We are sold.
That's enough of Tim.
Okay.
Never enough of Tim.
He's sold.
Now, let's get to Jason. Additional comments, feedback.
I really loved when you asked us, when was the last time you tried dementia? I just had home. And I like that you talked about your mother's pink glasses. It's like brought that to life, and her blonde hair. It's like, wow. It's like added a great spark.
Yes, Ken.
Well, there were two things. I think you mentioned Marcy, and I spent a lot of time trying to remember who was Marcy again. Marcy, and it was the mother-in-law, right?
Yeah.
Well, if you said it's the mother-in-law, you'll get a cheap laugh out of that alone. In American humor, mother-in-laws go. But it would help me figure out. I couldn't figure out who Marcy was for a while.
But I thought
You mentioned it, but it didn't register. But if you had said, "Oh, my mother-in-law, Marcy," and then the other thing is, I still can't get that joke. What gets buried? And you said, did you say DNA records?
Yeah.
I must be too American. I don't think neither of that. What's
that's
funny about
than
that?
anybody else. Who's raising the point? Marilyn loved it. Marilyn loved it. Clapping up for all of us here.
So that may even be a comment, you know, if it falls dead, you say, "You see, you Americans, you don't get it."
Well, I don't want to.
That's exactly what you do.
Stupid.
That's exactly what you do. That's exactly what you do in that case.
What, attack my audience?
No.
Yeah!
You
Okay,
help
get
your
this
audience.
British.
You help your audience understand that was a joke.
Oh, okay.
You Americans.
Yeah, we'd love to hear that was a joke.
And maybe they'll, you know, like Marion was laughing, it's like, she gets it, but most of you,
Too stupid.
yeah, right, that was the
Explain it
joke,
to me
and that was
later.
the
Yeah.
Yeah, help me.
British humor is understated.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
That's
We're going with it. Could just be him the movie. Good say.
Maybe it's
Good
terrible.
say.
Okay, yes, Stephanie.
As a twist on that prior comment, Jason, I think you have to be prepared when a joke doesn't work. And I
Okay.
think that there was a time when you said something about your mother-in-law, and it was a nice long pause because you were setting up for us to laugh,
Yeah.
and we didn't. And it was an excruciatingly long pause while none of us thought it was funny.
Well, that was also while I was drying.
Well, I understand. So when that happens,
Yeah.
move on this, you know, if you have to fill in the pause in some other way because you can't remember what your next line is, move, do something. Because otherwise you make it so obvious that really fell flat. So that's number one. Again, in terms of improvement, I'm going to challenge you with some exercises. And I hope you'll take this on, and I hope you'll take it as a positive and nothing other than that. You tend to like to make everything into a story. So if it's the question of the day, or whether it's an evaluation, you tend to do everything in the long version. Because you're in humor, echoing Tim's comment about the setup being short, you need to really practice. You would benefit greatly from practicing an economy of speech. To Marilyn's point, all it took was pink glasses, blonde hair. That's all I needed. And then you could do all kinds of stuff with that. Build on it. But if you can practice everything that you do with an economy so that instead of a 3-minute speech, it's a 1-minute speech. That's the ultimate. Then I think it'll show up in your ability to take these one-liners, which are really hard to link together, but they'll make more sense because they start, we can begin to pull the dots together.
Okay. Bouncing on that idea of the one-liner thing, what you can do is you can comment on the comment. You can do a, how was that called? Teasing. And there's a word.
Tagline.
Tagline, exactly. So think about you got your punchline, and then you do your tagline. You just do a bunch of taglines. And then you move to the next thing. That way you're just kind of, you aren't, none of the transition issues, because as far as the speech is concerned, you just stop. You know, that's okay. And then you say, okay, now moving on to something else. So you can do tagline to tagline to tagline, and you'll still be in the same zone. Does that make sense?
It does. My only concern with both of those comments is the fact that it's not a series of one-liners, it's a speech.
Right.
What I was trying to create.
Right. I'm just saying you can get on with your speech, but if you have throw taglines in, you can kind of overtake you too, I think. You can have your speech, your serious speech, whatever.
And I think what we're both saying is your speech is not, doesn't benefit from length. It benefits from connected logic. And so there's some economy is going to actually serve you, I believe.
And our second to it is that quite often the humor comes in with the unexpected line, right? You're going this way, all of a sudden you're going this way. And it's that kind of quick detour that get us kind of, our brain just go, whoa, what was that? Funny. And instead of asking the question, give us the time to actually think about, oh, what should it be? It's like this way, all of a sudden you're going this way. So you just hit them with that. That's, makes sense to you?
It makes sense.
Writing out a sentence and making a smart aleck comment about it. Writing out a sentence and making a smart aleck comment about it.
That's a good
that's
idea.
very useful.
That is very useful. Yeah. Thanks, Tim.
And one more, I love the joke about the rubber, totally funny. I'm wondering if you could make it a little bit older than 5 years old, because maybe 7, that is like, okay, you're on the borderline age, maybe that could be, because 5 is like, no, something's wrong. Something is not making sense with the eraser versus rubber, that maybe is another object. So just think about if that could be adjusted. Remember, you don't have to be truthful to your own life story.
But none of it is. All lies. I'm not even here.
Okay, yes, Chris.
So yeah, Jason, your main concern I heard from him is connection with the audience. And take into consideration these are Toastmasters. So how can you come up with some parallels between the Toastmasters activity? Think about table topics or timers or counters, or just make a list of all the activities, all the roles in Toastmasters. Because you have stories that are relevant to communication, and you might tie in there some comment like Tim and Stefania mentioned that's relevant to Toastmasters, and people get they don't need it all set up because they know they're intimately connected with the activity. They know Toastmasters so much. Second thing about asking questions, think of a humorous, you-based rhetorical question.
Yeah.
Like statement like, have you ever traveled, have you been to another country? They're a bit too simple, I would say.
Okay.
Maybe you can put some work on these questions. I believe you're a very creative person, you've been long in humor. There is work, that you can do some more work on these questions and turn them into something humorous. Yeah. Overall, I believe you're making great strides.
Thank you.
Now we're going to ask for speakers' feedback. Personal best on the rating scale of 1 to 10. Marilyn?
6.32.
Stefania?
6.5.
Tim?
5.317.
Oh yeah.
And Jason?
8.
Whoa.
Whoa. I'm trying to keep my confidence way up.
Oh.
8.10.
Oh.
Recurring.
Okay, at this point we're going to bring up our grammarian / high master / president.
Oh my God.
Good evening, college Toastmasters and honored guests. First going to do our Marin report. For table topics, I didn't notice any major ones, but I was timing at the same time, so it's kind of difficult. For the speeches, Marilyn, you had one, and you probably had another one, but it's hard to tell. Marilyn's question: what in the fruit helps regulate insulin? What in fruit help regulates insulin? The insulin spike. Regulates. Just keeps it balanced.
Laxatives?
No. It's fiber.
Terrible.
Okay, I'll try another question. What is scanners about? Marilyn?
About
Aliens,
exploding your
aliens.
brain.
Exploding your brain,
With
really
balls.
much
I haven't
fruit.
seen that movie yet.
Okay. Good job. Stefania, I didn't notice any filler words. And Stefania's question: how long has Stefania and Jim thrown their November
25
Christmas
years.
party? Good job. For Tim, I didn't notice any fillers. What does SOLD stand for?
Be seen, obtain, lie.
Luke and do.
Do.
Is it Luke or love?
It's like.
Like.
I don't suppose it's like.
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 Okay.
I thought it was like. Ken thinks it's nice.
Late.
Okay, so it's Tim's. And lastly, for Jason, I didn't notice any fillers. You just had a long
I
pause.
should have put fillers in.
You had a long pause. That was the only thing I
I
noticed.
made it back.
But for Jason's question, what game did Jason and his family play?
No.
Monopoly.
No, trivia or something.
Man, I suck at
Yeah, I
this.
can give you a hint. On television, it's synonymous with Steve Harvey, Louis Anderson, the guy from Home Improvement, and then Lane's boss from Seinfeld.
Uh-oh. Do you think Bridge?
Dawson.
Um,
Dawkins.
The
Yeah.
Jefferson. No.
Family Feud, people!
Family Feud.
Right.
It's Jason's. And then for
I think
Lexi,
the state watches, man.
for evaluations, I just noticed, and you had two. As far as the timing goes,
To what?
just two fillers, just two O's. For the timing, Prez, for table topics, you're at 1 minute 37 seconds. Tim, you're at 1 minute 22. Maria, you have 2 minutes and 6 seconds. And Kurt, he was at 50 seconds. For the speeches, Marilyn, you were at 6 minutes and 23 seconds. Stefan, you're at 6 minutes and 42 seconds. Tim, you're at 5 minutes and 50 seconds. And Jason, you're at 5 minutes and 32 seconds. 6 minutes. Prez, for the evaluation, you were 3 minutes and 31 seconds. Ken, you were 3 minutes and 57 seconds. Jason, you were 3 minutes and 46 seconds. And lastly, Tim, you were 3 minutes and 18 seconds.
We got 1 minute to wrap up this meeting, unless we have a vote of, okay to go over time. Okay, you will sign up your sessions online. We go with the quote of the day.
Yes, feedback. Yes, feedback.
Okay, thank you. Guest feedback. Maria, we would love to hear your feedback on the experience and what's it like for you?
I really enjoyed it. I felt there was a warm welcome. I appreciated people that I spoke with on the break explaining a little bit more about how Toastmasters works. And the only distraction was this is really loud and I have trouble hearing
Yeah.
people sometimes. But I really appreciated being able to see everybody present and also see how people presented the feedback back. So thank you.
I would add to it, having been a club ambassador, I have visited several different clubs, and several of us also belong to different, multiple clubs, that this roundtable feedback is an extreme